Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I'm here with a library book haul prediction reveal video with the last 4 library books. Alright, let's jump into it. I feel like it's been a million years since I filmed a video because for some reason I'm not reading as fast as I used to, and it makes me sad. But let's talk about books. So the first book I read was Cat and Meg Conquer the World by Anna Primaza. This one did deal with video games. I really enjoyed this. I rated it 4 stars. I thought it was a really, really good look at friendship and like especially girl friendship. It was just really, really well written. I like that it centered around a video game. It was just really, really, really well done. So basically, we have two main characters. We have what were their names? Cat. So Kat is just moved to a new province. She's starting a new high school, and she deals with anxiety, and she's like really overwhelmed with it all. Then there's Meg, who deals with ADHD, and she doesn't have a lot of friends because a lot of people don't tend to stick around with her because they think that she's too much, basically. So when these two characters are forced to do a science project together, um, both of them aren't very happy about it at first because like they're so different. I mean, Meg was more into it than Kat was, but then as the story progresses and they learn that the one thing they have in common is this video game, and like that's what really brings them together. And like you watch them as they come together and be there for each other through everything. It was just really, really well written and just very, very heartwarming to just see two girls who come from different worlds come together. It was just really, really sweet. So that was this one. The next book I read was Hannah Khan Carries On by Uzma Jalaluddin. This was nominated for the Canada Reads 2023 long list. I rated this 5 stars. I thought it was really, really, really well written. It has a You've Got Mail type story. I thought it was a little weak just because I'm like, oh, I picked up on it right away. I'm like, oh, okay, we basically know that who the love interest is and like how that is gonna play out. So I was like, I'm like that plot line was kind of boring for me. I mean, it added a little spice to the not that there was like spiciness in terms of romance, but it just added a little extra to the story because this really took on small businesses and when big businesses come in and family orientation and just having everything in one's family. And then I also really like that it really smashed the stereotype that Canada lives in this fantasy land utopia where no hate is here and like everybody loves each other. We're all singing Kumbaya because that is 100% not the case. Like they deal with racist comments, and I really just like the way that it was handled. It was just it it was subtle, and like I feel like a lot of people don't realize that yes, subtle racism happens in Canada. Like we do not live in a utopia. So I thought that was really, really well done. Also, the small business is a restaurant, and it made me very hungry while reading this. So definitely 5 stars. Definitely worth reading. I enjoyed this. The next book I read was Visions by Kelly Armstrong. This is book 2 in her Canesville series, and I swear I could have read this in one day because it was so fast paced. There was so much happening, and my brain was like this the entire, like I was just going crazy, going, oh my goodness. And I wanted to Google all of these things, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna Google because if I Google, then I'm gonna spoil it, and I want to enjoy the story as we go on. So this one took place a few weeks after the first book. Olivia is now trying to settle into Canesville, but things but people it's like Canesville doesn't want her to live there. It's so strange. Like this book really showed us how the town is kind of a person. We really learn a lot about the town and the history of it and the people of it because there's a lot of elders who are part of the town, but they're really connected to the town. It was just really well done, and you learn how she's kind of connected to the town, but we don't really know how yet. Um, but it gave it a glimpse into the murder mystery plot that was taking place in here. I feel like this sounds really confusing, but it's like not because when you're reading it, you're like, ooh, ah, twist, turn, ooh, ah. Like, it was just so well written and so well told that I'm like, I can't wait to read the third installment, because this ends with more information on her father. So in the first book we learned about her mother, and now this book, like, her parents had kind of took a back seat, and now at the end it's like, oh, her father's trying to reach out to her. So I'm like, interesting, I want to know where that goes. And then you've got like love interest kind of coming in, where it's like they've also kind of connected to the town, but we're not really sure how they're connected to the town yet. So it's like, what is gonna happen? And I'm like, I'm so like excited to find out. So I rated this 4 stars. I mean, it's really close to a 5-star read, because it was just so fast, so good, and I can see that it's starting to go away from her other series. Like, when I read the first book, I was like, oh, this sounds a lot like the Rockton series, but now, like, the supernatural is taking over, and even her main characters are starting to sound different from her other main characters, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see the difference. So this was really well written and just really, really good. Highly recommend if you like Kelly Armstrong's writing. Then the last book I read was Trick Mirror by Jia Tolentino. I haven't written a formal review for this one yet, but I have to do that later. I rated this 4 stars. I think it's more of a 3.5 for me, but she really did her research and her due diligence on all of the topics that she talked about, and just kind of like how we as a society and how we as females a lot of the time fall into the self-delusion, where she talks about the internet, how we do that, reality television. She has a whole chapter on marriage, which I thought was really interesting, because she has a lot of the same takes that I have on marriage, and I thought it was really interesting to read about, because it was kind of validating. I'm holding the book upside down, but you would never know that I was holding it upside down. It goes this way. Let me just pull up the table of contents, because like there's a few chapters here. Yeah, so she has, like, there's a chapter called The Cult of the Difficult Woman, where it's like the stereotypical, like, oh, women are being difficult kind of thing. Like, there's just, and like she has a history. She has a chapter that's dedicated to heroines. Heroines? Why can't I say that word? But I'm like, she has all these different chapters about how we kind of like delude ourselves, and I just thought that it was really, really interesting, and just she's also she's also a very good writer, so I really like that, just the research that she put into it, because it wasn't just like, these are my thoughts and I'm gonna send you like a memoir. Like, each chapter is like a mini essay, and there are facts to back up all of the things that she's saying, and I thought it was just really, really interesting and really well done. So, I mean, I recommend this book if anyone's looking for a book on how we delude ourselves. I don't know how else to sell that. So, those are the last 4 library books on my list. That is all I have for you guys today. Here they are. Here they are. Here they are. Like I say, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, and do your thing. If you've read any of these books, leave a comment leave a comment down below, and I will see you all in my next video. So thanks, and bye, guys.